Yesterday I shot a video about how you could trade platinum and palladium back and forth and potentially increase your holdings of either metal by a factor of 16 over a period of every 30 years. And I thought I would do a comparison with two much more famous precious metals, gold and silver. This is a chart of the ratio between gold and silver over the last 100 years. At the low end we see about 17 to 1. At the high end we see about 100 to 1. So every cycle we could increase our holdings by about 6 times. The problem is the duration of each cycle. Right? We went from 17 to about 100 and then back to 17 in about 50 years, and we went from 17 to 100 to about 30 something, right? So to be conservative, we might want to make our trades up here, right? But that's only a 3x return every 50 years, or 6x return every who knows how long, right? Back in earlier this year, we were back to 100 to 1 at the beginning. At the beginning of COVID-19, we were back to 100 to 1, right? So who knows how long that will take. And the fact that gold to silver has hit 100 to 1 is a relatively recent phenomenon, right? For a long time in history, it was fixed at 16 to 1. And I believe at some point during the Roman Empire, it was below 1 to 1, right? Silver was worth more than gold at some point, right? So it's not a guarantee that we will go back and forth between these two valuations, right? Part of the reason is that today only gold is still used as an international currency, right? Not silver. We may find both extremes, right? We may find both gold and silver going back to a currency, or we might go to a different kind of currency, right? Maybe cryptocurrency, or especially I had pretty much almost given up on the idea of cryptocurrency until COVID-19, and now everybody's locked at home, right? And at the same time, people are running all their computers 24/7 now, right? As part of being locked at home, right? Other ratios, the stock market to gold ratio is another one I'm following. That one is well, we can pull it up, right? The Dow to gold ratio. I believe the return is still inferior to the palladium to platinum ratio, just because of how long it takes for the cycle to rebound, right? The other problem with this cycle is that it's growing wilder and wilder over the decades, and it might be harder to know if the bounds are changing, right? I believe I've done astrology on this before, and this cycle is far from being complete. But we have, if we were to be conservative to not miss out on either of these, we would have to go about from 2 to about 16, a factor of 8 every 40 years, right? Platinum and palladium certainly are better than that, right? What else have we looked at of the currency pairs, right? Let's do US dollar to Japanese yen. That one is trickier because not only is there a cycle, but it's trending downward as time has gone on, right? Let's say since 1971. I don't know if I can get that entire chart somewhere. Okay, this red line here is the dollar to the yen. Obviously, we need to turn this into a logarithmic chart. And then there's a trend line, and then up and down, right? There's no way you can get multiple X return over the last 30 years, let alone 16 times return, right? Anyways, I'm very bullish on platinum, at least in relation to palladium, right? What they'll do in terms of the dollar, I don't know, right? I want to say that I'm much more keen on looking at ratios because of my own experience. Between 2011 and 2016, pretty much all of the metals were going downward, but I made a number of exchanges going between, recently I've traded some of my palladium for platinum. During the downward slide, I was trading gold for silver, The ratios were very favorable. There were several times when they were 80 to 1, and then there was a time when, at the beginning of COVID-19, when it was 100 to 1. I didn't have a chance to trade because obviously all the local dealers had closed their doors, but I bought some silver. So just by looking at ratios, I was able to increase my holdings even when the precious metals were falling, and my additional investments into precious metals were obviously much bigger. So I'm not too fazed by the fact that I had a 4 or 5 year run when precious metals were falling. That's why I love looking at ratios. Thanks for watching.